A church with a mighty congregation. Pastor M.E. Dodd of the First Baptist Church, Shreveport, Louisiana, who installed a radio broadcasting station so that his aged mother 400 miles away could hear him preach, is reaching thousands of radio enthusiasts. By Archie Richardson. Radio broadcast, August 1922. When the first radio services were held one Sunday in May in the new $500,000 building of the First Baptist Church of Shreveport, Louisiana, but a small portion of the worshipers were found in the church auditorium. The rest of the congregation were scattered throughout the United States, in portions of Mexico and Upper South America, on the islands of the Gulf of Mexico, and in ships at sea. One of the country's most powerful radio broadcasting stations carried the pastor's voice through the hundreds of miles that lay between him and his hearers. In hundreds of churches served by circuit riders, in hospital wards, in orphanages and old people's homes, and in residences of those affiliated with this church, receiving sets are being installed to take advantage of the opportunities offered by the first powerful radio broadcasting station in this part of the country. A 200-watt set using a powerful motor generator and operated by a licensed commercial operator was used. The station sends out on a 360-meter wavelength. The call number has not yet been assigned. The station is located in the 10-story tower of the church. The antennas are suspended between the top of the tower and a 30-foot skeleton steel tower built on an office building across the street. They consist of 4 copper wires, 125 feet in length, 100 feet above the ground. It was planned to broadcast the dedicatory services on Sunday, April 22nd, but part of the equipment failed to arrive in time to be installed before these services. The normal radius of the station is 300 miles, but under favorable conditions it can be picked up from coast to coast and is audible in portions of South America. The broadcasting feature of the new church plans was arranged primarily in order that the aged and invalid mother of the pastor might hear the sermons of her son. At her home in Trenton, Tennessee, nearly 400 miles away, a receiving set has been installed in her bedroom, and daily it will bring to her the voice of her son. Mrs. Lucy Williams Dodd, the mother of the pastor, Dr. M.E. Dodd, is nearly 80 years old, and for the last 2 years has grieved because she could not hear his sermons. While Dr. Dodd was visiting her recently, she expressed the fear that she would never hear him preach again. That was the suggestion that led to the installation of the broadcasting station. He made her a promise that arrangements would be made so that she would hear every service he conducted as plainly as if she were sitting in a pew before him. For a long time, Mrs. Dodd was skeptical. The retired life her illness has forced her to lead in late years has caused her to lose touch with many of the world's developments. But her son reminded her that when telephones first came into general use, she had said she would have none of them in her home. She consented to a trial, and a radio set was installed in her home. Now she is an enthusiastic radio fan. Daily she listens to concerts and lectures sent out from broadcasting stations, and enthusiastically declares that the newfangled ideas aren't so bad after all, especially for a woman of 80 who can scarcely leave her bed. And now the completion of the station in the Shreveport church has enabled her to listen to the voice of her own son. Hundreds of churches that have no pastor or that are able to have a preacher only once or twice a month have installed or are planning to install receiving sets. Now that this church station has been completed, they will have services twice every Sunday and throughout the week as regularly as the city church. And they will have the same sermons and the same music that the people of the biggest Baptist church in the world enjoy. It is stated that half of the Baptist churches of Louisiana are without pastors. The same is true of many other states. These churches are in small towns and in neighborhood settlements, in many cases off the railroads. Bad roads make many of them inaccessible through a large portion of the year. That the church radio will be a boon to the isolated congregation is agreed by all religious workers. Many preachers declare that radio offers the church bigger opportunities than anything science has produced since the invention of the printing press. Some say that it ranks above the printing press in importance. The rural church, long a neighborhood gathering place, will take on greater importance as a civic, educational, and cultural center as a result of the installation of radio. People will gather at the church evenings throughout the week, as well as on Sundays, to hear the best in music and lectures, to receive market reports, to get the day's news, and to hear the many other things offered by the country's broadcasting stations. But radio will not take the place of the pastor of the small church, according to almost unanimous verdict of church leaders. They say the personal touch of the individual minister cannot be supplanted by the radio service. They regard it as supplementing his work and offering him opportunities for bigger work rather than substituting for him. Many a church has fallen apart through lack of a pastor because there was no reason for the congregation to assemble. The radio is expected to remove this condition of affairs. Aside from the religious services, many features will be broadcasted by the Shreveport Church station. The auditorium, the largest in the city, has been offered as a civic and educational center. The world's greatest singers and lecturers will be heard there, and their concerts and lectures will be available to all who have receiving sets. On the 9th floor of the church tower is a 13-bell chime, of which the largest bell weighs 3,000 pounds. Daily concerts are given by a trained chimer. A chime connection makes the broadcasting of these concerts a simple matter. Recitals on the 4-manual organ of the church, together with choir and congregational singing, will be features of the program. A daily news service is being arranged for. The pastor states that the performance of marriage ceremonies will be one of the tasks of his radio station. A marriage performed by radio is just as legal, and the ceremony can be as impressive as if the minister were present in person, he says. This, it is pointed out, will permit a couple to have their wedding solemnized by the minister of their choice who may be hundreds of miles away. The only thing in the way of a ceremony of this kind seen by Dr. Dodd is the tendency of the bridal couple to arrive late, but he thinks a way can be found to get around this. The pastor expects to reach many of his flock who are addicted to Sunday morning automobile trips through his radio outfit. He will insist that when they go out Sunday morning, they carry receiving sets in their cars. There is only one fly in the ointment for the pastor. He is much concerned over the fact that a bed spring makes a splendid aerial. Much of his work, he says, is to get members of his flock out of bed in time for Sunday school or even the morning preaching service. When the people learn that they can listen to the services by attaching the receiving set to their bed springs, he fears there will be a growing tendency to lie abed Sunday mornings. The matter of collections isn't worrying him, he says. While it is impossible to pass the collection plate around with his congregation scattered over 48 states, he says that just as effective means will be devised for financing the activities of the church. The broadcasting station is but one of the unusual features found in this church, which is declared to be one of the most remarkable church plants in the world. A 10-story tower which furnishes quarters for a Sunday school of 3,000 and many young people's societies has attracted much attention. The 4 floors of the main building, together with the tower, have a total floor space of 51,500 square feet and a combined seating capacity of 8,000 people. The main auditorium will seat 3,000 people. It is equipped with a 4-manual organ and a chime connection. The transmitter of the broadcasting outfit is inconspicuously located in the pulpit and connected with the generator by wires that run under the floor and up the elevator shaft. Even the deaf will be provided for in this auditorium. An Acousticon outfit has been installed with a transmitter in the pulpit, connecting by concealed wires with the pews. The roof garden provides accommodation for 1,000 people. During the summer, outdoor services, concerts, and socials will be held there. The nursery in the basement, fitted up with toys, sand piles, and children's furniture under the supervision of a nurse, cares for children of mothers attending services or working or shopping downtown during the week. The dining rooms furnish noon lunches daily to several hundred girls and women employed downtown. Several banquets are served every week. The banquet hall seats 500 people at 2 long tables. A gymnasium is located in an upper room of the tower. The congregation of this church numbers 2,200. 10 years ago, its membership was 500. While the city has shown a growth of 43%, the membership of the church has increased 400%, while the contributions of the church to all causes has increased 3,000%.